I invite Aerospace Director Dr. Vicky Dedwal to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon. Dr. B.N. Suresh, Chancellor IIST, Dr. P. Subbarao, CEO Anand Technologies, Dr. V. Narayanan, Shri G. Narayanan, my colleagues, participants from the industry, and all members of the IIST family. Very good afternoon. This particular session is the main session for which we had a curtain raiser in the morning. As the nation and ISRO are moving for greater participation of industry in space, and for a space institute, industry is the final nesting ground for our graduates, postgraduates. We need to have a very close relationship with the industry. But up to now, we have not engaged as vigorously as we are trying to do now. So in the morning, we converged in 3 separate sessions: aerospace and materials, sensors and small satellites, and all ground technologies from the ground station to remote sensing to data processing. As has been told, there have been very clear identification by the industry themselves of some of the areas. And we had whole range of industry. On one side, we had participation of Godrej and Larsen Toubro. And on other side, we had new startups. So India is now a place of startups for space. And we also had participation of companies which have been floated by the alumni of IIST. Like to mention Pratik Basu of SatShow and Rocketeers. So now, given the range of the areas in which we need to work, given that we have 100 faculty, we have 200 PhD students enrolled as of now, and almost we have 950 of our graduates who passed and joined ISRO. And in the new absorption, it will be 80 plus, so we will be crossing 1,000. Till now, around 2,000 of the alumni have passed out and then moved into this new world of professional career as well as the space industry. So that is why, as part of our Foundation Day, we have paid special attention, one, to our founding chancellor, Dr. Abdul Kalam Azad. We just had the 6th lecture delivered, that too on the futuristic new education policy by none other than Dr. Kasturi Rangan. Then we had the special session for outreach of school students, which was so dear to our first chancellor. Then for the industry, we have these 2 sessions. And of course, the alumni also had one session on academia and small spacecraft, which was moderated by one of our alumni who currently works at Berlin Space. And it had the panelists drawn from USA, Singapore, and Australia. Of course, we will end today with a program again for the alumni, but in between, in addition to the student, I will not take too much time, but just point out that IIST has reasonably established itself as a innovating research institution producing high caliber PhD, masters, and BTech students. Our students have covered a whole lot of areas, including the startups. Our faculty have almost now 6 granted patents and more than 12 applications. We publish around 150 research papers. And our ranking in NIRF has been between 30 and 35. So given the very small area in which we are active, and compared to the big IITs and NITs, which have huge number of departments, students, etc., We just take 160 BTech students, 150 MTech students per year. I mean, we are so small that we do not meet the NIRF criteria of 1,000 students at a time. But this small is also our strength. We work on very niche areas and we work very deeply. So this particular session has a panelists and speakers, Dr. Suresh, who had this vision of what path the institute should follow. We have with us Dr. P. Subbarao, as he was just telling that past 28 years almost, he is in the business of space, promoting Indian technologies and also providing employment as well as the product. We also have with us Dr. V. Narayanan, our neighbor. Not only our institute exists on his land, but he is always very supportive of all activities. But more than that, the LPSC is the organization, the center which built the cryogenic engine, a very complex technology, and they are the ones who will build the next even bigger technology of semi-cryogenic. But last, I would like to introduce Sri G. Narayanan. Sri G. Narayanan, as we were jokingly saying, he holds the key for the industry and academia to go into ISRO's facilities, ISRO's activities. So he actually is also a very, very important, is the newest entity, but one of the most critical for this entire ecosystem. I am very, very thankful to each one of you on behalf of the institute and on my personal behalf, so that we could all assemble today and deliberate and lay out a path of how the IIST and industry should go ahead in reaching more heights for the Indian space program. Up to now, ISRO has been in the forefront. I'm sure it will continue to remain in the forefront, but I'm sure the industry as well as the academia industry joint work will also bring in great laurels and achievement to the Indian space program. So let me close my welcome by again thanking each one of you as well as the entire 175 now participants who are not in the panel but are viewing the ceremony. I'm sure there are more viewers on the live YouTube channel also. Thank you once again. Simi, you are muted. Please unmute yourself.
धन्यवाद सर, आपका भी इस कार्यक्रम में हार्दिक स्वागत है। अब मैं उद्घाटन भाषण के लिए हमारे माननीय कुलाधिपति डॉक्टर बी.एन. सुरेश जी को सादर आमंत्रित करूंगी। But before that, let me introduce our Chancellor, Dr. B.N. Suresh. Sir is presently the Chancellor of IST and Honorary Distinguished Professor at ISRO Headquarters, Bangalore. After his degree in Science and Engineering from Mysore University, he took his postgraduate degree from IIT Madras. He got his doctorate under Commonwealth Scholarship in Control Systems from Salford University, UK. He joined VSSC in 1969. He has made significant contributions to engineering sciences, particularly in the area of aerospace for the design and development of different versions of launch vehicles. He provided the dynamic leadership for the successful launches of ASLV, PSLV, and GSLV. Dr. Suresh is a fellow of several professional bodies like Indian National Academy of Engineering, Indian National Science Academy, Astronautical Society of India, Aeronautical Society of India, Indian Society of Systems for Science and Engineering, and International Academy of Astronautics. He is well organized, recognized in the international arena too. He was head of Indian delegation for the United Nations Committee for Space on Peaceful Uses of Outer Space at Vienna, Austria during 2004 to 2007. Dr. Suresh has won several awards and honors, and prominent among them are Dr. Byron Roy Space Science Design Award, Agni Award from DRDO, ASI Award, Distinguished Alumni Award from IIT Madras, Outstanding Achievement Award, Lifetime Contribution Award in Engineering by Indian National Academy of Engineering, National Systems Gold Medal, Aryabhatta Award, Karnataka State Rajyotsava Award, and Lifetime Achievement Award, by ISRO Government of India. He also received the international recognitions like Global Pioneer Award by International Council of System Engineering, Engineering Science Book Award by the International Academy of Astronautics, IEEE Simon Ramo Award 2020 by IEEE USC. In recognition of his meritorious contributions for science and technology, Government of India conferred on him Padma Shri during the year 2002 and third highest civilian award Padma Bhushan during the year 2013. Sir, we are very honored to have you here. With great respect, I invite our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. B.N. Suresh, for the inaugural address.
Okay. Are you able to hear me now? Am
Yes,
I
sir.
audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you and good afternoon. Dr. V.K. Dadwal, Director IIST, Dr. Y.N. Krishnamurthy, Registrar IIST, Dr. Subbarao, CEO, Anand Technologies, Sri G. Narayanan, CMD, NSIL, Dr. Narayanan, Director LPSC, distinguished invitees from industries, deans, faculty members, IIST staff, and my dear young friends. On the very outset, let me convey my very, very warm greetings and best wishes to all of you, and particularly to IISTians on this 14th Foundation Day. It's really birthday celebrations. And also the Foundation Day, in my opinion, is the day to look back, to reminisce, and to take stock of accomplishments and achievements that we have done in the last 13 years. And also, I think we must look forward and then see how we can come out with a blueprint and also a well-structured plan so that we can take the institute to much greater heights in the coming years. I'm very, very happy that you are organizing a program like this, IIST Industry Meet, Challenges and Opportunities. The theme is very close to my heart. In fact, I keep talking this theme very often. But in my opinion, this is the topic which is talked most but acted least. So I think we must change that situation. How do we really enhance this interaction and make it real? I must compliment Director IIST and all others who have really made it possible by inviting a large number of industries and also organizing a curtain riser program in the morning, showcasing your own achievements in these areas. It's really quite good. And also, I think this is the right time to do this because the Government of India has announced the reforms in the space sector, essentially to enhance the private participation and also to encourage the private investments in space technologies, exploration, capacity building. And also they are addressing opening our own facilities for industries and the private agencies to come and then utilize it. The idea is that so that we are able to transform Indian economy into self-reliant India. And all of us know that this particular topic is very close to our Honorable Prime Minister, which often he calls as Atmanirbhar Bharat. I think we need to contribute towards that. And not only that, the reforms have been announced, and I can see that the Department of Space also either has put in place or in the process of putting the mechanisms like InSpace and NCL. I'm happy that NCL CMD is with us, who would facilitate the close interaction and smooth interaction between the industries, private agencies, and ISRO. If you really look back last few years, we can see a tectonic shift in research and innovation. I think we need to give trust towards the research and innovation. And also we are able to see larger and larger footprints in innovation as well as entrepreneurship. And space segment has entered in the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm very, very glad to see that that component is increasing. That is something very, very rewarding to all of us. And also it is often told that the only countries in future who will prosper and survive are the countries who really promote the innovation and entrepreneurship. I think it's all the more important that we concentrate towards this and then take large footsteps. But it's not enough to just mention that. I think we need to sort of come out with a long-term vision of promoting ambience of research and innovation, particularly across academician and research institutions. That's not enough. I think we need to bring as a third partner the industries. We need to network greatly with the industries so that we are able to enrich the innovation, build newer and newer products for the development of the society and the development of the country. And this is one thing again is close to my heart, that as scientists and engineers, that whatever we do in terms of producing the various components or services or whatever else we do, the bottom line is that we must help the society, we must help to develop the country. And that's what, again, all of us are dreaming, what we term as the modern India. This close interaction between these three agencies, this should lead to build a strong and vibrant platform where we are able to leverage our own strength of each other and able to sort of bring out the very high level and impactful research and also promote the culture of innovation. We need to do that. But in order to do that, it's not enough to have just one-time discussion or meet like this. We need to build long-term partnership. It has happened several, ISRO has done it over a period by having a long-term partnership with many industries, but then we have to really jack it up to one level higher to make it very, very successful. So by having long-term partnership, it opens newer and newer vista of opportunities, and also it brings in strong synergy between the knowledge generation and innovation. In this process, we are able to sort of produce innovative products utilizing the expertise of academia on one side, R&D, research institution on another side, and industry as a third partner. So we all know that academia and research institutions, they play a very vital and dominant role in nurturing the research across the country and all the more in India. But that in industry, it's not that they don't do research. I think the situation that is prevailing compels them not to really invest so much money in research. So that way research is somewhat weaker there. How do we really compensate? How do we really move forward? I think we need to bring out a sustainable, dynamic work situation where all three of us, we work as a single team. If we are able to work as a single team, it has a tremendous multiplier effect in building the innovation products for the country. And in the whole process, I can see everybody is the winner in this process, because industries, they are able to get the high quality and innovative products, and that in fact improves their business. And also what we term as this is called economic innovation. From technology innovation, you sort of move to economic innovation. That will happen. And as far as the academy is concerned, I'm sure that it will improve the quality of education by interacting with them who build various systems. And also it helps to come out with the innovative research ecosystem in academic area. So that's why we need to really join hands in a big way. And this kind of close collaboration also, in my opinion, increases tremendous opportunities, like increasing the impact of research and also promoting the culture of innovation. That's what we should do. It's not enough to say that I do innovation. I think it should become a habit and we should go forward. And also at the same time, I would like to mention, because this is what I experienced when I visited some of these prominent institutions elsewhere in US and Europe. What's important for researchers to weigh the true significance of research, where exactly it is going to really lead to, how it is going to help the society. We must look in that direction. And also it is important for them to understand their line of research in a broader perspective. We have to really look at the big picture. It's not enough to do only incremental research. I think if we keep the big picture behind that, I think we do a great job. But how do we do that? I think in order to do that, we need to sort of take certain steps and strengthen the modalities. For example, when we interact with each other, it's important for us to really come up with the division of labor, how we are going to work. And we need to enhance our cooperation in a very meaningful way. And also the strong commitment is required from each one of us, without which we are not able to progress. And another area that is often discussed is that, the basic research, the applied research and product development. And many times, this debate goes on and on, saying that one will affect the other. No, in my opinion, they are all mutually compatible activities. Each discipline has its own identity and culture. So if you are able to understand that and be able to harness the strength of each of the discipline, put them to better use of our own benefit and be able to bring out the products, I think we have done a great job. Now, just for a minute, let us look at what is the one which is not able, we are not able to proceed by having a strong bondship between academia and industry, because there are conflicting requirements. For example, academics, they always focus to find solutions to the problem, which always throws intellectual challenges. Rightly so, nothing wrong in it. But then similarly, the academicians and academic institutions, they believe in autonomy, again, rightly so. And also they look at the problem in a multi-dimensionality, because that is, they try to explore various options that are available to find solution and choose one. But in the process, it's a premium on the, what we call time frame. And also they are pressed with their own research guidance, teaching priorities. All these things will put them in a backbench as far as the meeting the timelines. Let us look at industry. They have, although they may not do research, I strongly believe that they have a tremendous research knowledge behind them by virtue of doing many, many things. And also they have the in-depth knowledge of technologies, because they burn their fingers and they day in, day out, they face problem, solve it, proceed, and for them, every hour counts. And also I think they bring a lot more innovation. I think they are good at it. And of course, they are the experts in markets. Market is something all of us have to, we as scientists and technologists, our job is not only help the society, and we also have to nurture and create wealth for the country. Otherwise, how do we reach the dream of the Honorable Prime Minister to reach 5 trillion economy in a few years? I think that can be helped by the science and technology arena. And of course, they believe in shorter operation time and as well as resulted-oriented solutions. It's also, all of them are important. But then how do we really bring each other? So I think we need to sit down, debate, discuss, understand each other, identify the bridge gaps and try to bridge in our own way. We can do that. For example, I want to mention just one or two for want of time, that as far as the academia is concerned, that, they have to start appreciating little more, not that they don't believe, but then I think there has to be little more thrust in respecting the schedules and costs, because then only we can sort of walk 1 kilometer further to reach the industries where they are. And also they need to adapt to the quick changes that are happening in technologies. Industry, they must do, otherwise their market will go down and they are nowhere there. And at the same time, industry, we look at it, they are all always pressed upon the requirements of what is today, what is tomorrow. But then what is the requirement in terms of meeting the long-term research? I think if you are able to, I have discussed with several people, can you come out with your own industry, your own requirement? What is the long-term research? I think somehow that takes the backseat. It's important for them to identify this long-term research and then say, academia, hey, you look at it, I think you give me the solution. Academics will be very happy to do that. If necessary, they can even build certain facilities and then come out with the innovative ideas. They can certainly do that. And also they must ensure industry, I want to stress on this, they must continue the cooperation with academia irrespective of the stressed financial pressures. That is something bottom line, we need to do that. And I think I would like to mention these things, and this should be the footprint on which we should proceed. And I earnestly hope that this particular industry meet, what IIST has organized, will look into all these aspects, will have well thought out views and deliberations. And you have to come up with the models which can work to give the comprehensive solutions to all these requirements. If we do that, that will only strengthen the bond for mutually beneficial partnerships. I think we need to build that partnership. If we do that, it's like a win-win situation for all of us. And I want to tell you that the research and innovation will become very, very prominent in the coming years. And if we are left behind, we are nowhere. So with these few words, I have great pleasure in inaugurating this industry meet. And I believe strongly that deliberations properly recorded, and we look at some of these factors, walk in front of each other and try to meet the aspirations of both of you. And before I conclude, I would like to mention that I would like to stress that it should not become a one kind of a meet. I think you have to have a plan where you meet periodically, maybe once in 3 months or once in 6 months, take stock. I think this should become a continuous habit, and we must look at it, the progress made in each one of the area. And if we are able to do that, the what I mentioned earlier, so-called multiplier effect will happen, and research and innovation flourishes in the country. So thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. I consider it a great honor to welcome Dr. V. Narayanan, a distinguished scientist in ISRO, currently Director, Liquid Propulsion System Center, LPSC, one of the major centers of ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. As Director, he is providing techno-managerial leadership of LPSC, which is engaged in the development of liquid, semi-cryogenic, and cryogenic propulsion stages for launch vehicles, chemical and electric propulsion systems for satellites, control systems for launch vehicles, and transducer development for propulsion systems health monitoring. He is a recipient of Silver Medal from IIT Kharagpur for first rank in MTech, Gold Medal from Astronautical Society of India, ASA Award for Rocket and Related Technologies Development, Team Award from High Energy Materials Society of India, Performance Excellence Award, and Team Excellence Awards of ISRO. Dr. Narayanan is a Fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering, member of Space Propulsion Committee of International Astronautical Federation, corresponding member of International Academy of Astronautics, Fellow of Institution of Engineers, Fellow of Indian Cryogenic Council, Fellow of Aeronautical Society of India, member of INAE Governing Council, and member in various national and international professional bodies. Sir, we are very honored to have you here. I request Dr. V. Narayanan, Director LPC, to address the participants and to give his valuable inputs on the topic, opportunities in ISRO.
Thank you. Is it audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Most respected and beloved Dr. B.N. Suresh sir, Chancellor IIST, Dr. Dattwal, Director IIST, Mr. G. Narayanan, CMD NSL, Mr. Subbarao, CEO Anand Technologies Limited, Dr. Krishnamurthy, Registrar IIST, Deans, faculty members, staff members, students, alumni of IIST, and other dignitaries. Very, very good afternoon to all of you. First of all, let me express my heartiest greetings to each and every one of you on this 14th Foundation Day celebration of IIST. I am extremely happy and privileged to be part of this event on this Foundation Day. This institute, IIST, has been blessed with able leadership right from the start with great stalwarts like Dr. B.N. Suresh to the present director, Dattwal Ji, who have led from the front. The IIST passed out students, almost 950 students who joined in ISRO, they are doing extremely well. And I am really thrilled to know their theoretical and analytical abilities in their own discipline. Let me, during this limited time, share my thoughts regarding the opportunities in ISRO. In my talk, I am going to just give a highlight on the accomplishments of ISRO over 5 decades, opportunities in various fields. I know in 8 minutes it is very difficult to cover. I will try to do justice for my topic. Can you go to the next slide? As you all are aware, our space program had a humble beginning way back in 1962, and ISRO was officially institutionalized on 15th August 1969. A tiny rocket which lifted off from TADS in 1963 marked the beginning of Indian space program. And since then, till today, we have developed number of sounding rockets, and to our credit, we have launched 3,497 sounding rockets from Indian soil. If we scan through the growth of our space program over the years, we have accomplished till today 189 missions, which includes 75 launch vehicle missions, 109 satellite missions, and 5 experimental missions. And today, there are 51 satellites in orbit doing great service to the citizens of this country and making this country proud in all aspects. Apart from the Rohini sounding rockets, if you take the launch vehicles, we had developed 5 generations of launch vehicles. And today, we had the capability, in fact, the first launch vehicle, SLV-3, had the capability of only placing 35 kg payload in the low Earth orbit. From that, today we are reached to a capability of 4,000 kg in GTO, which is almost 9,000 kg in the LEO by our Mark III vehicle. For these achievements, we have made number of areas we have mastered the technology. I am not going to dwell on those things. A number of new technologies like space recovery experiment, RLV-TD, air breathing propulsion, KR module, launching multiple satellites multiple times in various orbits have been demonstrated. In similar lines, if you take the spacecraft area, we had a humble beginning in 1975. We had the first Aryabhatta launch. From that, we have moved in a long way. And today, we are having sophisticated advanced satellites like communication satellites, remote sensing satellites, navigation satellites, strategic and scientific missions in launching from our soil. In the remote sensing area, if you take, in the Bhaskara, we started with 1 kilometer resolution optical payload. And today, we have demonstrated the capability up to 0.28 meter resolution, and which is all set to improve further to further 0.1 meter, that type of numbers. In the last 5 decades, we have improved our spacecraft realization capability from 40 kg payload to 6,000 kg payload. In the GSAT-11, 6,000 kg we achieved. The design life of satellites, initially it used to be few years. Today, we have improved to a level of 15 years. And if you take the power handling capability of the spacecrafts, so from 6 kilowatt to today, we have reached to a level of 20 kilowatt at 70 volt capability. If you take the scientific missions, we have reached Moon twice, Mars in the first attempt, and we have also launched 319 satellites of 33 countries. And all of you know, we also donated the SAT satellite for our neighboring countries. Space application area has touched every aspect of human life. Apart from the mainstream space applications like communication, remote sensing, navigation, Indian space application Saha has extended its arm to every citizens of this country. Telemedicine, teleeducation, village resources center have reached the remote villages in India. Oceanography, potential fishery zones, disaster warning and mitigation, GIS applications have brought in remarkable changes in perspective of life of an average Indian citizen. The citizen portal like Guan deserves special mention. Today, it has hit 10 million hits per day is the type of thing what is happening. And the state-of-art facilities what we have established till today, which include solid and liquid propellant production, propulsion system test facilities, launch complex facilities including world-class launch pads, launch vehicle and spacecraft system realization and testing, ground system, satellite data processing and dissemination, deep space network facilities are a very few to mention. If you see the future, the space transportation area, we are developing a 200-ton thrust semi-cryogenic engine with a powerful semi-cryo stage of SC-120. And we are also operating the present C-25 cryogenic stage to a level of C-32. With this, the Mark III payload is going to be enhanced from 4 ton to 6 ton to GTO. The small satellite launch vehicle, which is really a marvelous baby, is in the final phase of development. And shortly, we are going to have the first launch, maybe this year end or beginning of next year. We have also planned to start our activities towards the heavy lift launch vehicle with a capability of reaching 20 ton to LEO, which corresponds to approximately 9 to 10 ton to GTO. That means the capability is going to be double of the present Mark III vehicle. For that, we are planning to develop powerful semi-cryo stage with a 400 ton propellant loading with four clustered semi-cryogenic engine, which will give a thrust of 800 ton thrust at the time of liftoff. And host of launch vehicle technologies also we are developing. And most of you may be knowing, we are right now working on the recovery and reusable launch vehicle system. Development is also going on in air breathing propulsion for demonstrating sustained acceleration for 250 to 300 seconds using kerosene as the propellant. RLV, large methane engine are some more developments which is taking place in the country. For performance improvement of the launch vehicles, a number of enabling technologies are being contemplated and work is already initiated, like hybrid propulsion, tri-propellant engines, miniaturization of inertial systems and avionics, indigenization of materials, Additive manufacturing, this is one of the very, very important area we are concentrating, and composite propellant tank for the cryogenic stages, silicon anode based high energy density lithium ion cell, carbon material development, carbon silicon carbide development, and a range of sensors and transducers for health monitoring of various parameters. Now, friends, you all know we are already in the human spaceflight program, and the Gaganyaan program is already approved, and we are all the ISRO centers along with the industrial partners and academia, we are working for this program, and we have to have 2 unmanned flights before we send the manned mission somewhere before August 15, 2022. Towards this, lot of new technologies has to be developed, which includes crew module and service module system development, space suits, environmental control and life system development, mission planning, quadruple system development for avionics and control system, automated health monitoring system, of humanoid robot for the first unmanned mission are some of the areas we are working on. In addition to that, the entire Mark III vehicle has to be human rated, and we have to make this vehicle also ready. And in the coming years, already the Human Spaceflight Center is having clear plan to go ahead with the space docking experiment. Also, in another 10 years, I feel we are going to have our own space station. Coming to the space infrastructure, there are a lot of demands existing. We are having now 300 transponders. Lot of demand is there in the area of communication, navigation, earth observation. And I can quote one thing. Today, though we are talking about communication, has come in a long way. Even today, something around 56,000 villages in our country doesn't have proper means of communication. So there is huge demand. And Government of India has already approved for meeting all the applications. 47 more satellites are approved and 55 launch vehicles are approved. And last 45 years, we have launched 109 spacecraft. I expect in another 6 to 7 years, we are going to have similar numbers. There is plenty of improvements and optimization taking place in the satellite area. If you see, mainly in the power, spacecraft propulsion, telemetry, telecommand, avionics, payload management, mission planning. And one area I would like to explain, the NISR program, which is a prestigious program. For that, a 12-meter unfurlable reflector development is going on. Rather, it is in the advanced stage of realization. Next 10 years, we have a host of scientific missions lined up. You all know Chandrayaan-2, we had a narrow miss, and now we are planning our Chandrayaan-3 mission. In addition to that, Aditya L1 mission and Mars Orbiter mission 2, SpaceX, Venus Orbiter, ExoOne, all of which involves meticulous mission planning and lot of cutting edge technology development. Efforts are also on to reduce the spacecraft mass by effectively developing high thrust electric propulsion system for orbit raising and attitude control. If you take the navigation system, we are having right now 8 navigation satellites in the orbit, and the future satellites we are going to develop, rather the development is in the advanced stage for the atomic clocks development is going on, and we are going to induct in the future navigation satellites. And right now, the TWTAs are for the communication satellites, all are imported. Already we are having definite plan to do it, make it indigenously. And in the area of optical and microwave remote sensing, the payload optimization and improvement work is going on. The space application, if you take, it has touched every aspect of human lives in the last 3 decades. In these areas, huge development has taken place. If you take the present situation of COVID-19, the telemedicine and teleeducation is really apt to discuss further, and in this area, lot of developments are going to take place. If you take another area, I think the director IIST is to his heart. He knows a lot of things in this area. He has worked fully in this area. If you take crop production forecasting, till now, we had the capability to forecast 15 crops. And ISRO management has clearly given a guideline in another 7 to 8 years, another 15 crops we have to add in this area. Now, using our navigation satellites, one application I want to tell, the rain tracking system, real-time rain tracking system. Out of 8,800 trains in the country, 2,400 trains we have incorporated. And at one point of time, entire train tracking system should be made operational and made automatic. And surely the industry has lot of role to play in this area. And some more areas like renewable energy utilization, advanced data visualization and analytics, NAVIC messaging receiver for fishermen, etc. are some of the important areas what ISRO has taken up today. There is plenty of opportunity for the budding talents of students as well as the industry partners to contribute in this area. SATCOM and handling of transponders, including maritime and aircraft tracking and tracing, are being developed. NAVIC receivers for positioning, timing, and messaging using mobile apps are the need of the hour. Hence, in the area of space application too, there are plenty of scope and hand-holding is required from industries as well as academia. Coming to the capacity building area, to meet all these requirements, the capacity building has to happen in a big way. My friend, Mr. G. Narayan, is going to address in detail, so I am not going to dwell on that. However, I would like to tell one thing. Today, our entire budget, whatever we are receiving, 80% of our launch vehicle budget and 60% of our spacecraft budget, we are investing in the industries. Rather, industries contributing in a big way. Almost 500 numbers of industries throughout the country is contributing for the space program, and these numbers in the coming years I am expecting to increase further. Coming to the academia, almost 110 academic institutes throughout the width and breadth of the country is contributing for the space program. Currently, 480 projects under RESPOND and STCs are going on. And IIST, our neighbor, really, I am very proud to say, we are working hand in hand. In fact, the past, you know that whenever a project is constituted, it will be none of the academic institute people will be part of the project. But now we have totally reset the entire system under the leadership of Dr. Suresh sir as well as Dattwal ji. We have reset. There are project executives from IIST. They are inducted into the ISRO program, and they are doing. I am happy to report that they are doing extremely well, and that gives great satisfaction for us. And surely the students and teaching community also will get benefit out of this. In the coming years, I am sure the bond between ISRO and IIST will become more stronger, because as the Chancellor rightly told, it is a win-win situation. And if academia is strong, we are strong. If we are strong, academia is strong. And surely IIST is going to contribute in a big way. First of all, a good environment is required. That is already there. Good understanding is required with the faculties. That is there. Then the very excellent students are there. Then what is not there, we can really contribute together in a big way. Dear friends, before I conclude, let me thank the IIST management, mainly the director and the registrar, for giving this great opportunity to share a couple of my views. I know it is very difficult to inform all the opportunities in ISRO within 8 to 10 minutes. Some of the views I have shared. Let me once again wish all the faculty members and students of IIST on this 14th Foundation Day. Let me also greet all the participating industries in this event. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
धन्यवाद महोदय। आपने बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से इसरो में उपलब्ध अवसर के बारे में हमें ज्ञान दिया है। The next dignitary to honor us with his presence is Sri G. Narayanan, who is the Chairman cum Managing Director of New Space India Limited, NSIL, a Government of India company under the Department of Space. He joined ISRO at the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, VSSC, in 1983, and later moved to the Liquid Propulsion System Center, LPSC, on its inception, and was serving there till recently. Sri Narayanan was engaged primarily in the realization of mechanical hardware for various liquid rocket propulsion engines and stages. He had headed the cryogenic engines as well as Earth storable engines realization. Since March 2012, he was heading the systems reliability and quality assurance activities of the center. He had worked in Moscow, Russia for 9 months as part of the cryogenic propulsion technology acquisition team of ISRO. Also served as first Secretary Space and ISRO Technical Liaison Officer of Europe at the Embassy of India in Paris, France for over 4 years on a diplomatic assignment. He had represented India in various international fora, including the United Nations UN Conference on Disarmament, UNESCO, OECD, the International Space University. Sri Narayanan is a recipient of the ISRO Merit Award. He is a fellow of the Institution of Engineers, also a member of various other professional bodies such as Indian Institute of Welding, Indo-French Technical Association, Astronautical Society of India, National Institution for Quality and Reliability, Aeronautical Society of India, Society of Aerospace Manufacturing Engineers, and the Indian Society of Systems for Science and Engineering. Sir, we are very privileged to have you here. I request Sri G. Narayanan, Chairman and Managing Director of New Space India Limited, NSIL, to deliver the address on opportunities with space industry.
Good afternoon. I hope I'm audible.
You're clear, Narayan.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the introduction. Respected Chancellor IIST, the distinguished Dr. B.N. Suresh, Director IIST, Director Dean R&D IIST, my co-panelists Dr. V. Narayanan, Dr. Subbarao, budding scientists and engineers from IIST, proud alumni of IIST, faculty members, and others present. I am pleased for having been invited to this afternoon part of this IIST Foundation Day program, and I would like to thank the organizers and specifically Dr. YVNK for the same. We are discussing on the opportunities and challenges, and I will be focusing on space industry. Dear students, we are now at a very exciting period in the history of space technology development in the country. What was hitherto considered privy to the government sector has been thrown open to the non-governmental players through a bold and unprecedented initiative of the Government of India. At a time when many of you are on the verge of leaving your student life behind, student title behind, and looking for an exciting career ahead, this will be quite challenging and rewarding as well. Choice between ISRO and industry or the non-governmental players will become difficult. What I could assess is that the non-governmental sector will be equally exciting as is ISRO. It could become even more exciting as days go by. Needless to say, ISRO had a very strong relation with the industry, both in the public and private sectors, and had ensured that they also grow along with the growth of ISRO. This was also highlighted in the inaugural talk by Chancellor IIST. However, the inherent risk involved, the lack of availability of specialized, dedicated, and knowledgeable human resource, the need for continuous engagement of senior management in all the activities related to it, and above all, the lack of volumes had kept the industries from venturing further into these activities. However, the quantum jump in ISRO's activities over the last decade or little more had generated a lot of interest in the industry too, among all others. This had seen a spurt in industrial activities in space and more vendors coming forward to support ISRO. The industry was also quick in moving beyond simple manufacturing to system level manufacturing and also coming up with their own products with their own designs. Such designs had also been accepted by ISRO and flown in several of their missions. The encouragement on innovation and startups through well-organized government mechanism too has played its role currently. Industry startups have taken it head-on on certain critical areas of space and are showing very positive signs. However, space being rocket science as it is, has its own intricacies, including the need for high-cost infrastructure and safety concerns. The dual-use nature of many of the involved technologies puts its constraint too. The current initiative of the government is to support non-governmental players through appropriate provisions in technical, financial, and regulatory areas simultaneously. This will address all the concerns that I have, concerns or constraints that I had earlier mentioned, and will create the ideal ecosystem to bridge these gaps and to give the comfort feel to the space industry to enable them venture into newer and newer areas. No doubt, this will bring in support to the nation in a major way in this sector. This is also expected to change the current pattern of 100% government finance space program to one that will see huge investments from non-governmental sources. With the new policy put in place, the company that I represent, the New Space India Limited, is mandated to play a significant role in this transition. We will take ownership of all identified, regular, and proven programs of ISRO and provide end-to-end service in space. This will include building and launching of proven launch vehicles and spacecrafts. To meet this goal, we will be working towards sourcing all the required products from the Indian industry. Consequently, in due course, the role of industry in government programs will stand enhanced multifold. With this initiative and the planned contribution from our side, ISRO will be able to pursue their cutting edge research in new frontiers of space. And you have already heard from the previous speaker about the large and challenging opportunities that ISRO stands to offer. Thus, for all of you, there is a choice between ISRO, which is a governmental organization, the non governmental players who will be playing a major role in the years to come, and the industry, both in the public and private sectors. With the traditional industries, while the traditional industries were supporting ISRO, they had been continuing to support, they had been highly conservative in their approach, and their role will continue to increase as NSIL outsources more and more activities to them. This will offer several openings for those of you who have a flair for industry oriented tasks and a satisfying bright future in that field. However, if these industries need to sustain, they will have to be competitive and innovative. However, the innovativeness of such industries have the risk of getting the designers and developers on board to be receptive to these innovative ideas. The new breed of non-governmental players, on the other hand, have been very bold and has taken up great challenges at huge risks. Nevertheless, they have shown all the traits of success. These players will definitely attract and offer you many more greater and challenging tasks. You can also draw examples from them and become entrepreneurs of your own. In fact, many of them are alumni of this very same institute. The governmental support for such initiatives, along with the recent reforms in the space sector, will ensure success of such ventures. I would tend to feel that this will be the most exciting and challenging of all. I would suggest that you all give a serious thought to this. This particular group will also have to bear in mind that in spite of the huge enthusiasm and support mechanisms provided world over, only a handful of these companies have really succeeded and many have perished. We have lessons to learn from our own aviation sector, and the valuable lessons learned there will definitely help. This is only a caution not to ignore the complete model when you venture into such entrepreneurial missions, and is not at all a disencouragement. While the general trend is to consider satellites and launch vehicles as the primary thrust area wherever space is stocked, you must be already aware that this segment contributes only a very small percentage to the total space economy. Ground segments, services, or application segments are much bigger and would request you to focus on more on those areas. While these areas offer huge opportunities, risks involved are relatively smaller as compared to the launch vehicle or spacecraft arena. With India possessing its own constellation of Earth observation and navigation space systems, and the new remote sensing and navigation policies being put in place, this will be hugely rewarding. We have our colleague Dr. Subbarao, who had also ventured into similar areas in the past and have done considerable amount of work in these areas. It's an example for you all to emulate. Friends, in short, the nation has much to offer to all of you and expects your contribution in future to take it to newer heights in the days to come. I do not want to take much of your time. I conclude by wishing the students and the institute all the very best in all future ventures. Thank you. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद महोदय, आपने हमें अंतरिक्ष उद्योग में उपलब्ध अवसर के बारे में अवगत कराया है. Thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. I'm very glad to invite Dr. P. Subbarao, CEO, Anand Technologies Limited, to this session. Dr. Subbarao is a technologist with extensive experience in space program. He founded Anand Technologies Limited, ATL, in 1993. ATL is contributing for design, development, and fabrication of satellite subsystems and systems, complete assembly, integration, and testing of satellites for national and international market. ATL is contributing for Indian launch vehicle programs by way of making avionics subsystems and complete integration of sub-assemblies for polar satellite launch vehicles. ATL has so far contributed for 82 satellites and 65 launch vehicles of Indian space program ISRO, and also contributes to the area of satellite applications. ATL has facilities located in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Thiruvananthapuram, employing more than 1,200 employees. Sir, I request you to share your views about space industry perspective, opportunities, and challenges.
Thank you, ma'am. First, I would like to extend my greetings to, hope I am audible? Yeah. I would like to extend my greetings to IIST, management, staff, and students on this 14th IIST Foundation Day. Now, I thanks all our friends who invited me for this. It's a great pleasure for me to be in. Dr. B.N. Suresh Garu, my mentor, my guru. Dr. Dadwal, Dr. Oivan Krishnamurthy, my old colleagues, and my dear friends. Mr. V. Narayan, Dr. V. Narayan, and G. Narayan. Both of them become the guiding stars today for this program, and also after unlocking of the space policy. Thank you for all that. Of course, we have other colleagues like Professor Joseph and Professor Raju also on the panel. And thank you, sir. My greetings to all of you. I would like to present this in a slightly different fashion. Maybe I'll be covering some of the things which already been covered by other panelists, but I would like to give a different angle, maybe in terms of industry perspective in this. Therefore, I would like to talk to you first about, I want to divide my lecture into different parts. The first part being the India in space, then what's the global scenario. Then we talk about what's going to be the Indian space policy, which we have been waiting for such a long period has come into the being now. And of course, since a lot of students are involved in this program, I would like to talk to them a bit about entrepreneurship, because that's what I took up on myself. And I'm fairly successful. I don't say I'm successful, but I'm fairly successful in this area so far. In a very constrained policies all around, still we could be successful in this. And hopefully there'll be more success comes through as the policy is now being liberalized. Can I share my screen for the presentation? Yes. So are you able to see this?
It's yet to come, Subbarao.
కనిపిస్తుంది మీకు అది?
ఇంకా లేదండి, మీరు షేర్ స్క్రీన్కి వెళ్ళారు కదా?
యా
ఓకే, ఫైన్. టేక్ ఎ సెకండ్.
స్క్రీన్ చేశాను. ఓకే. Is this okay now?
Yeah, it's come.
Good. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah. And as you know, everybody knows about our Indian space program, which has basically been emphasized by Vikram Sarabhai those days, only as the one for the national development and closely following the national development as the nation is liberalizing their policies as we went along. And all the objectives are to become self-sufficient in satellite communication, satellite-based resources surveys, and the satellite navigation and meteorological applications, and into various areas of this kind. And we have been self-sufficient to the extent possible. So that means those days it is more of a supply-driven, not demand-driven. With the economy now opened up, in the digital economy opened up, I think this motivation, this object which was started earlier, is slightly changing it now. And that's why the new policy also come into the picture. And ISRO has did extremely well so far during the last 60 years in terms of developing the PSLV and the GSLV and end-to-end application programs. And so far, as you know, that 109 satellites have been launched, 77 successful launch vehicles, and 10 student satellites, and 2 re-entry missions, so now which are giving rise for astronauts to go to space, and 319 satellites from different countries. 33 countries have been launched by Indian satellites. I mean, Indian launch vehicle that give the name and fame for the Indians' ability to do things. And currently, we have 15 Earth observation satellites in space, which have been effectively being used, and also 18 communication satellites and 7 IRNSS satellites. And again, this is something like, kind of a jewel in our, ISRO's kirit, in the crown. And we have 3 science and exploration missions are also working very well in the space. And so far, the government of India has spent 1.25 lakh crores in the Indian space program, and the current assets now functioning about 15,000 crores. The way I'm mentioning this is, the burden on the government is going to be relieved to some extent in terms of, supporting the space program, and the private initiatives are coming up in this. And Indian space program was, of course, yeah. And when you go to the global scenario, and the economy, I mean, this is what the market that drives the entrepreneurs like us. And globally, right now, the scenario is about $250 billion. And our satellite communication manufacturing part is about $15 billion. And with the small satellites being manufactured, not in ones, tens and 20s, now they're getting into thousands and thousands of pieces of small satellites going to be put into LEO orbit, and the market is going to be opened up further into this. And the launch vehicle is about 6 billion, and the ground segment of 114 billion, 114 billions. As Mr. Narayan has mentioned, there is more money on the ground segment, and not necessarily onto the satellite and the only launch vehicle program. And that's where less investment is needed. And as Mr. Narayan has mentioned now, and since the facilities with the ISRO is also being opened up, and we can make use of that, so that investment will not going to be much for the entrepreneurs like me, or like, who is coming up into the market today. And totally, and of course, the amount of money that the country has spent so far is only 0.6% in India, whereas, of course, the other developed countries spend a huge amount of money. Now, again, the burden on the government budget is going to be reduced, and the private entrepreneurs like us, we're going to spend more and more money, with the foreign direct investments also coming to the country. And right now, they employed about more than 1 million people. But I'm sure that once they opened up fully, the number of people going to be employed will be more than 2 or 3 million people in this country. It's a great opportunity for all of us and for all our students. And you see, in the global scenario, though 9,000 satellites have been launched, and of course, the replacement satellites coming up, and that's another opportunity for us to be in a part of the satellite baking, satellite launch vehicles, part of it, and also for, a lot of other activities. In fact, when I first started my company, I just looked at opportunities after first IRS utilization program was conducted, looking at the kind of a commercialization the country can do. And we looked at the kind of mapping activity that is to be done for this country. The huge country is subcontinent by itself. So therefore, we looked at how many number of Earth observation systems will be required in space. Then we worked with certain numbers. If you should have so many so many satellites in orbit, how many launch vehicles do you need? Well, we worked out certain empirical relationship to that, and worked out certain numbers towards that. And similarly, communication, kind of a transponder then were used. And when digital resolution is going to be around the corner, how many satellites do you need in the country? I made just a kind of a rough estimate sometime in 1992, when it was a part of ISRO. And I found the numbers were mind-boggling. And I thought the country is going to open up one day. Let me take a plunge into this. So I left a very happy job and started this. And now it's becoming a reality now as we go along. And of course, now there's more money in the services too, not only in that. But we world people still, we believe more into making the launch vehicles and satellites and look into the part of it. That's the reason why I built the huge facilities in this area, Hyderabad and Bangalore and Trivandrum. And the policy that has been announced, you can look at each one of the points that have been mentioned in the first instance by the finance minister while addressing the press under Atmanirbhar program, Atmanirbhar Bharat. And each one of the points gives us an opportunity to extend our business opportunity. Look at the first one. They will provide level playing field for private companies in satellite launches and space-based services. This is where I'm sure, as we know that the number of people available outside ISRO, the specialists in this area who are retired or who have been graduated or who did the post-graduation, whatever the experts are now, surely the number is much more than what is available within ISRO itself. So therefore, all of us an opportunity to have a level playing field and to grow on our own. And there's, when there are many players, there need to be a regulatory environment to be created, like a TRI did. TRI we had in telecommunications area, and similarly we have it in SEBI in economics and finances area. So that kind of a predictable policy and regulatory environment is also being created. We're happy about that. Then when you get into the facilities part of it, some of the facilities that the satellites or launch vehicles are so huge, it's impossible for companies like us to put our money into it. So therefore, the government is providing the facilities, whatever is available within ISRO, which is also built at the taxpayers' money, and your money, my money, all of money, also part of that. And I'm glad that government has realized and is opened up to all of us today. And of course, the scientific missions like planetary exploration, and of course, various things, maybe little far-fetched for us to get into that area to, ultimate objective of any entrepreneur is to make money. I think maybe, it may not be, right now for us, maybe a little far-fetched, but we can think of that kind of opportunities also as we go along. And we look at the liberal geopolicy, data policies, what's being now emphasized by government at the end of the policy. I tell you, the opportunity in this is so huge. And of course, earlier, the government sector, like, we have regional remote centers, state remote centers, but NRSC, then Space Application Center, they've been into that. Now, it gives an opportunity for us to go for higher resolution data also being used by importing or by our own satellites. And we can reach the government agencies. Both government and non-governmental opportunities are going to be very many in this area. So therefore, each policy, in fact, gives us to be entrepreneurs in this area. And of course, there are also various challenges, as Mr. V. Narayan has mentioned. And of course, the space business is like in the infrastructure area in this country, and is going to be a long gestation period. And of course, one has to be really technically good in doing things, but still we can overcome now this. And space-based enterprise, the risk and failures will go together. And of course, as Mr. Narayan mentioned, we need to learn from the globally also in this area. But since opportunities are coming up into LEOs and things like that, small satellites, the investment is going to be lesser, but the coverage is going to be higher, and replacement satellites is going to be very many, and that's what gives us opportunity in this area. And of course, these are the challenges, but still, the commercial market earlier was driven by the government only. Now today, as per the policy, earlier that used to be like a supply, kind of a demand to be met with. But today, the actual market demand is to be created. And for example, when you look at the other sector, like automobile sector, we had, only a couple of car manufacturers earlier, but once it's liberalized today, we have plenty of cars, automobiles now in the market. The entire ecosystem came to the being. Ecosystem like, manufacturing here, the employment provision for that, then, the supporting financial support systems for that, and the repairs and maintenances, the huge opportunities come up in this country. I'm sure similarly, there are going to be very many opportunities coming up. What the commercial viability will surely be at our reach. And now, when you look at the opportunities of space, is not just only for India alone. When we are into the field, a global market is our goal. And there is going to be breakthrough technologies which India can develop. And as Professor Dr. Rangan has mentioned to us in the morning, and also Dr. Suresh has mentioned just now, innovation. The innovation creates, I'm sure Indian parents are very innovative. Only we need the ecosystem to innovate. That kind of ecosystems are not going to be done now, going to be there are now. There are a lot of encouragement is being done. It's going to be in place very soon. So therefore, I'm sure, and it's not necessarily that we have to travel to USA or Europe. and work with some other company and do that. And our friends and students, they can work in this country, and a lot of innovation things can be created. And that way we have a huge market in India itself. And rest of the world looking to India for the market. And why should we go and work elsewhere and look at somebody's market? We have a huge market in India itself on that. Look at the big data, IoT, weather, social databases, and 130 billion population in this country. That's a huge market for us. So therefore, let's look at this opportunity of this 1.3 billion people, and country spread it the hilly terrain, into deserts, into villages. That's where we need to look at it. And look at the digital economy. That's what is expanding today very fast in this country. And look at the COVID has given us opportunity that the paradigm shift into our thinking, in our meetings, our travels, and your education system, your medicine, and the way that medicines are being administrated, everything is being changed. And this is a great opportunity for us, because the communication that comes from the satellites and the terrestrial communication. So all this gives us a very good opportunity. And there's a lot of probability for us to get into a kind of collaboration, joint ventures, to bring in the new technology, look at the space in an entirely different manner. So that's a great opportunity for us. And just to tell you how we started, I already mentioned to you how I thought about this, and sometime in 1992, after first IRS satellite was launched, and looked at the IRS regulation program. And I find then itself that, there's a huge market that's going to be around. That's why I left my happy job and started the company that deals again with the space program. That's why today, in my space program, my company, we deal with all three segments of space program, namely the satellite, launch vehicle, and its applications. And of course, we started working right now, first with the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, and started working then with the ISRO Satellite Center, of course, working with a lot of applications areas, the entire nook and corners of the country. And that way, today, so far, we contributed to 82 satellites and 65 launch vehicles. Thank God. Thanks for the opportunity that ISRO has given us so far on that, and given me the opportunity to provide employment to more than 1,200 people. And we have that, across 5 centers in the country. And we have built the entire, whatever the infrastructure needed for making the systems and subsystems in the company itself all along. And it gives us a pride feeling for us that, we could contribute so much, so we can contribute much more in the liberalized policy region. And this is our facility, which we built recently in Bangalore for complete satellite integration. In fact, we can manufacture 4 large satellites or 4-ton satellites simultaneously in this facility. And also, of course, about 100 satellites, small satellites per annum. That's the kind of capacity that we built into that. Looking at what the SpaceX is doing elsewhere, look at the Amazon is doing elsewhere, looking at other opportunity. I'm sure that the small sector, the small satellite sector is going to be more and more, and that's what is inviting us to be part of that. And this is our AIT facility. And also similar facility in Trivandrum is also coming up. Already we have the facility there, but a new facility is also coming up completely for kind of end-to-end, the building of the systems in that. We're already contributing for the integration of the PSLV, and a couple of them already been completed. A few more also now in the offing. And so far, 65 launch vehicles plus. And similarly, opportunities in the applications area, land, water, environment, urban infrastructure, huge opportunities in this area. But so far, the private initiatives were taken away the government, because the policy, whatever earlier, the part of it. But today, the opportunities are very many for the private initiatives to get into this area and make wonders. There's a huge market. So therefore, a piece of advice with my own experience, with the liberalized policy being already in place, I would like to advise the students not only to seek an employment. Maybe seeking employment is necessary to begin with to gain some experience, but you must always should have the entrepreneurial mind. I tell you, in the 130 crore population in this country, the few people working elsewhere, but rest of the people are outside the regular employment area. And that population serves about 90 crore population in the country. In other words, we have nearly about 90 to 100 crore population in this country who are individual entrepreneurs. Now, the space has given the opportunity to be entrepreneur in future. So therefore, I advise to all of you to create the mindset of entrepreneur mindset from the very beginning. Don't get into a cozy job and say to be into a safer area. Always be the risk taking. That should be your motto. conception. You concept what is going to be, how we want to do things. Design what is good environment around you. Then you manage a new organization that gives you NPM applications. Why do you want to do that? Normally, every human being wants to excel himself. When he excel himself, he wants to be recognized. Then he wants to have the ambition. He wants to have the control of situation around him. At the same time, he also would like to be the financially sound, not being just an employee. So therefore, I advise you to cultivate habit of that ability, the ability to take more and more risks. All of you must be like Lord Hanuman's, taking more and more risks. Innovation. That's what has been spoken in the morning by Dr. Rangan and also Dr. B.N. Suresh. And this is the area. And you look at, we talk about a startup. Each startup, has a new ideas. After all, a student in Stanford University or a student in IIST, we study the same kind of textbooks, more or less. But our experience is different. Our environment is different. So therefore, our ability to rate is going to be much larger than our counterpart elsewhere can take it. And today, an ecosystem in the space is now in place with a liberalized policy. That's where each one of you must become a kind of entrepreneur in own way. And that's, there's visionary leadership. See, Vikram Sarabhai, with nothing in this country, he thought of a kind of a space in this country. And, and various leaders, Professor Dhawan, then, in fact, people like B.N. Suresh, so much of risk every one of them took in the process. And they've been successful. And they've been into constrained a governmental system. Whereas you and me, as students, when we become entrepreneurs, we're in a different ecosystem altogether. And the sky is the limit for us. Please develop that kind of a thing. And know your product, know the space. That is a great encouragement for each one of us. And what do you do in the process? Not only that you feel proud about what you are doing, but in the process, you are also creating a lot of jobs. Creating jobs in this country is more important. As you know, today we're 130 crore population. Tomorrow is going to be increased by 10% every annum, every year. So it's also necessary for us to create jobs in this country, not only technology excel. So you have to do that part of it. That's what is said, Atmanirbhar Bharat, the self-sufficient. See, as Swami Vivekananda said, the confidence, faith in ourselves, that is needed, and to create jobs in this country. And let's be innovative. See, this innovation, nothing new in this country. Look at what has been built over a period of time in this country for centuries. Each temple, each location, each one, the family is very innovative. But unfortunately, we lost it in between, maybe because of education, that education part of it. Now, when great leaders around us, let's learn from them. Let's be more innovative in our thinking. And let's change. And the change is the way of life for us. Let's change that. And we need to give back to the society. The parents have given us so much and got us educated. And we need to give back to the society, not only to our own parents, but also parents alone, providing job, employment to other people too. And also in the process, national income that grows up. See, as it is mentioned in the educational policy, and Dr. Rangan has mentioned in the morning, 3/4 of the income in the European Economic Council, that it comes from innovation, and the national income goes up. Unfortunately, since the Indian population is so high, we depend more on the agriculture. And the shift is needed. When you get to a digital economy, from the agricultural contribution to the national GDP, we need to contribute more in terms of innovation, in terms of industry, into the. And in this, India is going to be the 5 trillion economy, as Dr. Suresh has mentioned just now. That's the Prime Minister's dream in the next 5 years, 5 trillion economy. You want to reach a 5 trillion economy, each department in the country, from the governmental side, each industry in that is contributing immensely into that. And the space also can contribute in many ways to reach the significant level of our contribution into the 5 trillion economy. That should be our goal. And now ecosystem is in place. As Narayan mentioned, things are right in place, and all of us are so young, and things are going to be good for all of you. Good. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
सूचनाप्रद प्रस्तुति के लिए धन्यवाद महोदय. थैंक यू सर फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेटिव प्रेजेंटेशन. अब मैं IIST द्वारा विकसित प्रौद्योगिकियों का सार संक्षेप प्रस्तुत करने के लिए डॉक्टर राजू के जॉर्ज, डीन अनुसंधान एवं विकास को सादर आमंत्रित करूंगी. Dr. Raju had obtained his PhD from IIT Bombay and postdoctoral research at IISc Bangalore and from the University of Delaware, USA. He has authored a book and has to his credit over 60 research papers. Currently, he is working as outstanding professor at IIST and Dean Research and Development and Intellectual Property Rights. I invite Dr. Raju K. George to present the IST compendium of technologies developed.
Hello. Am I audible? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Respected, beloved Chancellor Dr. B.N. Suresh, our Director Dr. V.K. Dadwal, Dr. Narayanan, Director LPSC, Dr. P. Subrao, CEO Ananta Technology, Sri G. Narayan, Chairman and Managing Director of NSIL, Y.V.N. Krishnamurthy, our Registrar, Professor Kurula, all other participants from industries, startups, alumni members, faculty members, and dear students, good afternoon. I'm extremely happy to give you a brief summary of the technologies developed in IIST during this IIST industry meet as part of the IIST Day celebration. From the inception, IIST faculty members are very enthusiastic to carry out research both in applied as well as basic research along with their academic teaching. There are about 100 faculty members and about 200 PhD students along with the UG and PG students. I briefly give you this summary of the technologies we developed in IIST. So now I share my screen. Hope that, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
You could go to the view, slide view mode. Thank you.
So the details of technologies developed in IIST. The thrust areas of research in IIST are broadly the advanced propulsion and laser diagnostics, nanoscience and technology, small satellites, VR virtual reality, and quantum computing and machine learning. And the IIST research, broadly, we have innovative and technology-oriented research, at the same time, the basic or the fundamental research. And this research is carried out as a part of IIST ISRO projects and IIST projects, and also projects funded by external funding agencies like DST, DPT, or DAE, or KSCIT, etc. And the major innovative research, as we have already seen in the morning, there were 3 parallel sessions. These broad areas are classified into 3 main areas: aerospace technology and materials, sensors, payload, small satellites, and the space applications, ground station data processing, augmented reality, virtual reality, satellite, RS and GIS and GS navigation, data analytics, machine learning, etc. And this research ended up, as per the report, we have developed around 48 technologies. And the technologies are listed here with the TRLs, the technology readiness levels. With level 8, we have about 3, level 7, 3, and so on. These are the 48 technologies developed, which are having varying TRL levels. And also this research resulted in patent 6 patent already granted, and 12 patents filed, and we are waiting for the patents. And there are international peer-reviewed publications, about 50, and conference paper 28. And now the brief list, I'm not listing all the 48, but only a few number I am listing. So the name of the technology developed, the inventors, the patent or publication resulted from that, and the probable users of the industries which can make use of these technologies, and the readiness of this technology is listed in this tabular form. One is onboard computer OBC for nano satellites using microsomy SF2 SOM, and it is with the TRL level 8, and the flight qualified version is a part of Inspire Sat 1, which is expected to be launched in December this year. And similarly, onboard computer OBC for nano satellite using microsomy SF2 SOC. That's also at the TRL level 6, and the prototype one is manufactured and tested, and flight qualified versions to be used in AHAN. And the EPS, electrical power systems, that's also ISRO and space industry can use it. It is also in the TRL level 8. Flight qualified version is part of Inspire Sat 1. So that's also is expected to be launched in December. And okay, an image is there. Okay, this is an image of the system. And these are the thing, and we will go back to the list. Now, a fourth discovery is a nanostructure-based gas sensors. So 2 patents are awarded for this one, and 6 papers are published. And the prototype version 1 is demonstrated, and it's at TRL level 4 to 5. So this is expected to be used in HSP and also in agriculture, chemical industry, household industry, etc. And okay, image of this one is given. This is a brief description of the product. Now going back to the next gas, cold gas micropropulsion thruster. It is developed in Aerospace department. 2 papers are resulted as part of it, and it's the probable users in ISRO, or it's for faster attitude control, and this is at the TRL level 6. And another ultra-lean non-premixed gaseous fuel burner. It's also application as industrial burners, micro gas turbines, and power generations. It is also at the TR level 6. So this is a brief description of the item. Okay. And going back to the next item, this is small molecule drug discovery program. This can be used in medicine industries or pharmaceutical application, and lab scale experiments are completed. Scale up is required. API formulations and identifying safety and efficacy is required, and TR level is 5. So this is a brief description about the discovery. And coming to microcellular carbon forms. So carbon forms is expected to be useful in the space industries ISRO. Lab scale experiments are completed. It is developed in the Department of Chemistry, and the component and technology validation is also done. It's at the TRL level 5. So a brief visual description is given here. And patent is filed for this discovery, and a number of papers are also published. Now, a new metamaterial inspired frequency noise UWV antennas. So in the Department of Avionics, many versions of antennas with different features are developed, and ISRO centers or wireless industry can make use of it. Multiple prototypes are developed and tested and standardized. 4 papers are also published as part of this. So this is a brief description about this product. Okay, now flux-mounted TIG welding for it is developed in the Aerospace department, and it is can be applied for welding industries, and lab scale experiments are completed. It's also is at TRL level 5. So this is a visual specification of the technology. Now, another technology developed in the Department of Chemistry is a wiping cloth for detection of explosives and pesticides. So this can be used in various industries, and now for finding the presence of pesticides in fruits, or even finding the presence of explosive elements. Lab scale experiments are completed, scale up is required, and studies are demonstrated, and it's also a TRL 4 to 5. So this is a brief description. And going back to MOS2, this is a removal of the trace of contamination. So contaminants from water. This is, can be used in the water treatment plants, and it's developed in the Department of Chemistry. Lab scale experiments are completed. Scale up and it's already a patent is filed, and studies are now required. It's again at TRL level 4 to 5. So this is a brief description about the technology. Now coming to the 13th, a nano gold graphene based non-enzymatic electrochemical sensor for glucose and ascorbic acid. This can be used in industries based on producing food or health and medicine. So again, developed in the Department of Chemistry. Lab scale experiments are completed, scale up and filed. Studies are required. So these also 2 papers, and the patent is under process. A brief description about various aspects of this product is shown in the slide. And going back to MEMS accelerometer, is a technology developed in the Department of Avionics, and 2 patents are filed against this technology. And microelectronic, microsystem industries, automotive industry, space technology, defense applications, all these areas where this technology can be used. Prototype is made and demonstrated, and this is also at the TRL level 5. So these are a glimpse of some of the discoveries, some of the technologies which we made at IIST, and some more are there which are at a lower level. Now faculty members are working and to get into industry level technology. So with this, I will stop. So thank you very much for your attention.
सार संक्षेप प्रस्तुत करने के लिए धन्यवाद महोदय।
Thank you, Dr. Raju George. Yes, Sini, I have a small change because of the time which is overshooting. So we have actually a session. I request my colleagues, Dr. Arvind and Umesh, and also Dr. Mishra to stand by. We'll just have this interactive session of the industry participants. If that is fine with all the panelists, I request Dr. Suresh sir and all for this kind consideration because some of have some exigencies. Is it okay, sir? So I'll just go ahead with the industry interactions. That is for around 20-25 minutes.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Now we have our colleagues and also our alumni also is there. So in a sequence, I'll just call. May I have Dr. Narayan Prasad? So here, what we want from you all, sir, from the interactions where the names have been given to me by Dr. Kuruvilla Joseph. You have understood in the morning what IIST is doing, and even Dean R&D has mentioned what are the areas of our specialization and what else we can do, and which also will be hosted on website we can put through. Based on that and your experience already working with ISRO and also contributing for space segment in India and outside, briefly to tell us so that the other students and participants will get a flair of what you're looking for, mostly ex-tempo. Can I have Narayan Prasad? Chief Operating Officer. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, how are you? I'm Krishnamurthy here.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, please.
So thank you very much. I'll keep it brief because I know that you have others waiting in line as well. As we know, we have the industry evolved for the last 30 years in India, but many of them very much still doing mostly business within the borders of India and mostly through the hand-holding of ISRO. For us, I think we are a company that is based in the Netherlands and the US and have customers in over 15 countries at this point of time. From my learnings of seeing how the industry has evolved in India, I think there are just 2 or 3 things that are very key. One is the control and the incentivization of creating IP, because at this point of time, if you do a statistical analysis of who holds original IP in terms of suppliers in India and who controls that IP, there is hardly a handful of number of suppliers that are out there that own the IP by themselves. So most often we have seen the evolution of the Indian supplier base where ISRO has developed the IP and industry is mostly contracted to manufacture it. But I think that what happens with that is the integration of that into the global ecosystems becomes very little, because those are developed for ISRO missions, and the IP itself has very little translation to products abroad. So there are some suppliers, of course, who hold original IP, and they're trying to enter the international market, like Accord Systems or a few others like that. But largely, companies can only manufacture at this point of time. So I think a very good exercise that I would like to see IIST and the larger community to do is to actually come out with an exercise of mapping the size of the Indian space economy. We have seen many of the presenters state in your presentations that the global space economy is $350 billion big. And they quote all these numbers on 9,000 satellites, and many other numbers have been put ahead. But some things that I don't yet see from the Indian side is how many suppliers are working effectively in the ISRO ecosystem. Who are these suppliers? What do they supply? What is their infrastructure? How many jobs are they providing to all the people in the ecosystem? How many of them actually do only exclusively business in India with government entities and rely completely on taxpayers' money to run their businesses, versus how many of them actually have export capabilities and are able to integrate to the global supply chain? So these become extremely critical because as there is a large scope for using the Indian base, as with the IT industry, for example, of having the IT industry doing business globally, having integrated themselves to the global supply chain. I see the potential for all of these suppliers to integrate themselves globally and to do that. So I guess the starting step for that is for the opening up of the industry in a way, first in terms of collecting and collating the statistics themselves and putting them out. And the second part is to map out who has the IP base and the manufacturing base. And the more you encourage the original IP creation by risk mitigation or co-investment or other strategies, the more it is possible for some of these suppliers to then globally integrate themselves, and to also the companies that are just doing contract manufacturing to then look at investing into original IP creation. And that, I think, will be the stepping stone for Indian suppliers to integrate themselves globally, and India to become an export hub through industry to the global supply chain. So with that, I rest my case.
Thank you, Narayan Prasad. It's very brief and focused. And I understand the young entrepreneurs who are looking forward, and also the startups, I think should fall in line. And definitely what the problem you mentioned, along with NSAL, we'll try to take it up and try to map this thing, because it's a need for them too, and also for us too. Thank you. Now, may I request, thank you once again. And thank you. Can I now request Pradeep Basu, co-founder and CEO of SatSure. In fact, he is our alumni too, to join and give his views. Pradeep? Yeah, while getting him, maybe I'll go with the next one from L&T. We have Mr. Midun Babu, who will, because we have a long association with L&T. Midun Babu, are you there? Can you join? Or now I'll go to Mr. Subbareddy from Silicon CNC Profiles.
Dr.
Okay.
Krishnamurthy?
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether they have been moved from.
No, they have been moved, sir, because emails have been taken off there. Much before itself.
We need to get them, huh? So
yeah,
please
sure.
get them.
Or else I'll call upon Bhushan Iyer from Embedded System Solution.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, please.
Thanks for giving us this opportunity.
It's Bhushan Iyer, right?
That's right, sir.
Yeah, please. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, professors, panelists, Vice Chancellor Suresh, sir, industry participants, and the attendees. Thanks for giving my company, Embedded System Solutions, this opportunity to give our view and present a probably a 2-point agenda that I had in mind for us to discuss and probably share information. As the company name reveals, we come from electronics and embedded systems background. So that's where I would start. We have a long legacy of about 30 years of working with ISRO in India. More than ISRO, DRDO specifically. ISRO, more recently in the last few years. We come from the embedded system side of things, and we see two areas in which that we could probably work a little closer with ISRO, as we see happening with DRDOs. Definitely, we see a two different pace of working relationship between ISRO's and DRDO's electronics collaboration. The problem statements are the same: airborne systems. Whether we look at the Hyderabad missile complexes or the Trivandrum avionics side of ISRO, the problem statements remain the same, but sensitivities are different. So we believe that the model-based development approach for autocode generation is one area where ISRO can collaborate more with industry, academia, and help bring in all the modern techniques that we build into embedded systems today in the commercial side into the space programs. AI ML is getting very rapidly associated with all the embedded computing. We see vision coming into computing in a big way. All of this kind of development being hand coded is one of the areas probably for us to interact together closely and share technologies and tools. And probably IIST is the right place to start that exercise. VSSE or LPSC may take confidence in seeing some projects being done with IIST together with companies like ours to develop a working framework to build these onboard systems and softwares. Traditionally, these have been done very closely with probably the Vikram kind of processors, which is closed, and hand coding technology, which is probably in-house. There is probably a cause for us to relook at that, probably starting from IIST, and slowly, once the technology is built and IIST has enough confidence on the software development environment, on the architectures being utilized, and the kind of software safety requirements that it meets, probably it can be graduated into more serious space technology usage. So that's one of our areas of focus where we do a lot of work with DRDOs, but not enough with ISRO. Where we are able to collaborate much closer with, say, missile complexes like RCI. We would like to have that kind of a closer collaboration with ISRO, where the technology can be, customized, if not, licensed. That's one of the areas that I would like to discuss. The second point that I had for today for discussion is to utilize some more cloud technology from the commodity world. Like, for example, AWS has a fantastic application called AWS Ground Station, which we are trying to talk about with ISRO for a while now. These are, the ground station doesn't, it's AWS terminology. It is not the ground station as in the way ISRO understands it. It's just a nomenclature for one of their applications, which allows ISRO to do some of the commoditized part of the technology much faster, much more with software sophistication. This is an application that we are willing to work with ISRO for trials and maybe enabling activities at IIST. I've done a preliminary presentation on the AWS ground station late last year, early this year during the student day or the convocation program. There was a lot of interest from the avionics faculties of IIST for the AWS ground station, as well as the model-based autocode generation framework that we want to. These are two projects that we want to really collaborate with IIST and bring these technologies as close as possible to native technology. I understand that the best way is probably to build everything yourself. ISRO and the ecosystem build every single piece themselves. There is also one more compromise solution, which is that take an open technology and customize it as close to the native technology as possible. So these are two areas that I've selected for us to probably collaborate in the next year. Any discussion points on these?
Thank you, Bhushan Iyer. I hope you also participated in the morning session where the curtain riser or some of your colleagues, and you must sort of got a flair of what we are doing, and we are capable of many things. Okay, one thing which I can assure you is the students have a terrific potential here. What you ask for 7 days, they give it to you in 2 days. There's a potential what exists as an entity which I'm talking as coming from ISRO centers to an academic institution. Anyway, whatever your suggestions, we have noted down. And as our Chancellor, Honorable Chancellor has mentioned, this is only beginning. We are going to continue now in a big aggressive way, okay, and take it forward. Thank you for your points. We have noted down and we'll come back to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, may I request Annie Sam Verghese, by the time Pradeep and Midun Bob also will be there. Now, can I request Annie Sam Verghese?
Hello?
Yeah, please.
Can you hear me, sir? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me for this session. What I want to discuss is that how can an industry like us can benefit with the collaboration with IIST and ISRO. I mean, I'm not from a space background. I'm designing and making drones, which is not directly related with space sector. But what I'm thinking is, if we remove the space factor from the space technology, the rest of the technologies are kind of common in some of the matters. So, we can transfer or collaborate in those sectors that that will be beneficial for both of the team. Like what the way I'm seeing it, the main benefit of ISRO is that ISRO or IIST is that they have a better understanding on technology, science, like a deep root understanding in science and how it works and how a research can be conducted. On the other hand, entrepreneurs or industrialists like us have a better understanding on the other systems, like on advanced or modern technologies. So I think we can combine these two so that it will benefit both of us. We can implement better technology to better and modern technology to the space related applications, and we can take back some of the deep understanding from the institutions to implement on the industrial sector. And hello?
Yeah, we are hearing you. Please.
Okay. And another thing I want to point out is that the benefit that a collaboration, a private public partnership can bring to the economy of our country. Because as we can see, if we track the history of ISRO and the space technology in India, we innovated really well in the first stage, and we made a very good system like APSLV launching system and also some things like that. And we tried to maintain that system without changing much, because like if something is working fine, there is no need to change it further, because that will risk the reliability of the system. But as the organization ages, I think it will that entire system will age out. So a new coming technology that is innovating very well can take over the sectors that the age old system. And I think a better example will be the SpaceX, what SpaceX is doing right now. And there, but I think we can achieve the same level of innovation through this collaboration. I mean, as an industrialist, we are focused on, or we are exposed on latest and more advanced technologies, and we can give that to the as a collaboration to the space industry, and we can also get benefit like the deep research and level understanding on the technologies related to that to the industrial sector, and it will bring a lot of other economical benefits. Like we can use highly advanced technology that's developed by the space sector to the benefit of common people, like a highly advanced navigation system for drones or something like that. I think we are seeing some of the technologies of the trends moving that way, and I'm hoping we can collaborate on like that for in the future.
Sure, thank you, Annie Sam Verghese. In fact, point is noted. Maybe you had also seen in the morning the UAVs and drones, and also our Dean R&D has made about bio wings, etc. That. So, and also morning our Kasurangan Saab also mentioned about disruptive technologies which are in the pipeline. So we can work together, and then we'll be in touch with you, with my respective colleagues. Okay. Now, yeah, thank you very much for waiting and giving your points. Now, can I request Pradeep Basu, the CEO and co-founder of SatSure, who is also our alumni.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pradeep Basu, and I'm actually the alumnus from the first batch of SatSure. the thing is, I graduated in aerospace engineering, and today I'm running a company which is into space applications and has nothing to do with aerospace. And just to give a quick background of what we do at SatSure, we have been working on creating what we call as decision intelligence by using data from space and combining it with other forms of data sets, spatial and non-spatial, whether it's coming from IoT, drones, weather, or any kind of public data sets, to provide information and insights to sectors which were unaddressed previously by the traditional geospatial industry, such as banking, insurance, etc. And today we are a team of 35 people, of which about 40% are from IIST, from different batches, with offices in Bangalore, Switzerland, London, and Sydney. And we are very much always in touch with our alma mater to recruit, to discuss. Indeed, our respected director, Dr. V.K. Dadwal, sir, has been kind enough to always guide on different products that we are building at SatSure. And all said and done, I'm very proud that in our 13th year as an institution, our alumni has grown to different parts of the world. They are successful whether they are inside ISRO or outside of ISRO. And all in all, I see the industry academia partnerships program started by IIST as the next step of our growth as an organization, which also supports companies like SatSure that today myself and a few of my classmates together started in 2016 to grow and involve in more and more IP creation, intellectual property creation, in a collaborative manner. Also, and also tap into the great human resources that IIST produces. So with that short note, I'll take a pause. I'll be happy to answer any questions that are there for me.
Thank you, Pradeep Basu, because I know you're running from one ministry to another. Somehow we pulled you and got you here. First, it is a motivation to all our students, alumni, and faculty to see you here, and also to the industry to note that a youngster like you taken up on space applications, which is a very big segment. What was projected by our Dr. Subbarao, who was a veteran in applications, and then went into this area. So maybe because this is we are taking your views, now we'll come back with you, and you're doing very well in the insurance segment. But you can also stress there is a small segment in which you're touching. There's a huge segment which is still open, where people can chip in, right? In the
Absolutely.
top insurance segment itself, or also the taxation and other part. Thank you once again, Pradeep. So now, with your permission, I'll go to the next. I know Midun Babu is waiting from L&T. May I request Midun Babu, please?
Yeah, good afternoon all. Thank you, sir. I had some issue with the login. Now I'm able to log in. Thank you very much. I'm from L&T's Precision Manufacturing Systems Complex, Coimbatore. So we are close to IIST, and there's a small team of new R&D team in Aero PTDC formed here, and I represent them today. My unit head today, she initially shared about areas of interest of interactions with IIST today morning. And I think it is exciting to see all those technologies which is developed in IIST, around 48 technologies, what all you have shared. Some of them is definitely of interest to us. Right now, we are looking at this first level of engagement. So a couple of points, what morning he shared, I would also like to now share with all the seniors who have joined in this call, is that we are looking for the engagement with IIST in some kind of academic programs of theirs, wherein our young engineers can get exposed to the space technologies, what all you are collaborating with ISRO and doing. Like some of the MTech programs, some of the doctorate programs, we have actually sent a request also. We would like to start the engagement in that note, and then look at collaborative research programs in some of those areas, which we can discuss in detail later, as well as we also look at further like someone was mentioning that we should continue such engagements rather than this one of those glimpses. We thought about putting some kind of a those campuses we have centers of excellences, wherein you have continuous research programs done at those campuses with the industry engagement with them. We have done similar in our defense business along with some of those IITs and NITs, and we would like to see that what IIST we can collaborate the same manner with IIST. We have been in space for long, and we would like to take up this engagement in the better areas with now space getting open up into design and build to spec kind of an opportunity coming out. This engagement should give fruitful results is what we believe, and we will look at future engagements with IIST and take forward from there. With that note, thank you for this opportunity to share our thoughts in this forum.
Thank you, Midin Babu. So I had an opportunity to work with your colleagues from Bombay and other places in L&D Defense, and we represented in Make in India program also along with Godrej. At that time, I heard your seniors telling about how each one learned with one another. That is, the industry as well as ISRO learned together in developing many things right from the scratch and made them indigenous. Thank you for your few words, and we definitely will work together as our Honorable Chancellor has mentioned. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Is Surendra Vaidya there from Godrej?
Hello.
Yeah.
He left, sir.
Okay. Subbareddy, Mr. Dr. Subbareddy from Silicon CNC Profiles.
Both of them left.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think we
fine.
can close.
It's fine. Now we'll go back to our Dr. Arvind and colleagues. Yeah. Sini is coordinating that. Yeah. Please. Sini.
Sir. Now let us have an outcome of session 1. I invite Dr. Arvind B, Professor and Head Department of Aerospace, to present the outcome of the theme, Aerospace Technology and Materials.
Yeah, thank you, Simi. Just hold on. I'm trying to share the screen. It's not showing up. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming, Arvind. You can see.
Yeah. Yeah, good evening all. Respected Chancellor, Dr. Suresh sir, Director, Adwal sir, Director LPSC, Director NSIL, and an inspiring personality I just encountered. I came across who is the CEO of Adams Technologies, Dr. P. Subbarao sir, Registrar, Deans, faculty members, students, staff of IIST. So we had a very fruitful interaction in the morning on the theme Aerospace Technology and Materials. And the important highlights are very briefly consolidated in 2 slides. So in the presentation, we basically showcased technologies as pointed out by Dr. Raju George on propulsion, micro coal gas propulsion for small satellites or nano satellites, and combustion for small burners, and bionic MAVs, metal finishing, welding, materials for batteries that can enhance the performance of batteries, thermal protection, carbon form, explosive detection and pesticide detection, drug discovery, etc. to industry participants. And some of the points are listed here. From Godrej, they are basically interested in developing small satellite propulsion systems. So they are extremely interested in the coal gas propulsion system. Also, they would like to look at other propulsion systems for the small satellites or CubeSats. They are also equally interested in green propulsion technologies, welding, metal forming, and materials characterization. One of the points highlighted by Surendra Vaidya was that the available grade of materials that they deal with is Russian grade. And he also emphasized that we need to have very good know-how on the metallurgical aspects. So this will help them to process the things much better. Second, he also suggested that we should try to integrate the very large practical experience and infrastructure of the industry with the very new innovative ideas from academia. So in this front, if we work together, we would be able to create innovative solutions to the industry. Then cost effectively, we have to bring down the cost of casting and forging equipments, because this takes away a lot of amount in developing the product. He also emphasized that the engineers from the industry should be given a short-term course or should be trained in problem-solving techniques, and also should be exposed to crisis management so that they also equally benefit from us. And he also offered MTech and BTech projects in industry, which will help our students to get hands-on experience on what industry needs, and thereby it will open up the job opportunities. Similarly, Lakshmesh from L&T was equally interested in coal gas propulsion and all the propulsion related to small satellite sector. They are equally interested in metallurgy and composites. He was emphasizing very much on multidisciplinary system integration, that we cannot just build each component in isolation. We should equally collaborate with the industry and academia and try to bring out the multi-system integration or system engineering, so that it finally comes out as a product, not as an individual isolated component. He was emphasizing more on this point. Similarly, similar to what Surendra Vaidya was mentioning, Lakshmesh was pointing out that MTech and doctoral programs for industry personnel had to be offered from IIST, similar to how we do it for ISRO-sponsored candidates. And the internships, students can be sent to L&T. And he further elaborated on funded research collaboration on the topics of interest that we have to take it up from now onwards. Then joint development on innovation, as also pointed out by our colleague from Godrej. Then establishment of center of excellence, based on if we progress further, we can actually think of establishing a center of excellence which will contribute to research as well as translate the technology to the industry. Then advanced manufacturing techniques for composites, additive manufacturing, these are the areas they would really like to have the academia participate and contribute. And there was Neil from Studio Carbon. They were mainly interested in materials and manufacturing processes, and they are very much focusing on station keeping of astronauts, the footwear of the astronaut. These are some of the application areas that he showed, and the interiors of an astronaut cabin, typically that we see in a Gaganyaan, and how to come up with materials and manufacturing processes for these two. Then we had Walchandar Technologies. They were mainly interested in metal forming and welding of managing steel. Then Sai Life Sciences, they were extremely interested in drug delivery and drug discovery, which was one of the topics proposed by Dr. Shrija Lakshmi from chemistry. And there were Vayugel Technologies. They were showing us portable water production from humid air. So he was basically suggesting, the representative was basically suggesting that if we can develop a cartridge material that can absorb the minerals from water, then that can add to the value of the existing technology. Skyroots, of course, Dr. Jnana Gandhi sir from ISRO, former ISRO employee, he also gave very fruitful thoughts on how to come with cost reduction. Especially he was highlighting titanium and helium, which is extremely costly. He was also suggesting that we should go for hot gas generation for pressurization and somehow replace helium and other materials as compared to titanium. And he was emphasizing on 3D printing to fabricate an engine or smaller components. And one of the main challenges that is faced by the industry which goes ahead with 3D printing is quality assessment of the 3D printed components. There is no standard as of now. That's what he told. There is no standard as of now across the world to see how to assess the quality and say, okay, it's passed. So here he clearly says that academia has to help them out in setting up this standard and to come up with how to bring the quality factors into the picture. So the way forward, we have looked at two things. One is industry academia as part of, in addition to the research collaboration or collaboration in to develop products, we should exchange students to industry, and we should invite or we should allow the industry personnel to come to IIST to enhance their skills or potentials in problem solving techniques, crisis management training, and also try to have MTech and doctoral programs for engineers from industry. That is, these are some of the key points mentioned by L&T and Godrej. So how to move forward? So after discussion, we found that, or we came to the conclusion that a small team has to be created with faculty members and industry representatives. And we, after this is a starting point. It cannot be a one-day event. Extensive discussion on the common areas and clearly chart out plans to proceed further. And this has to be reviewed and monitored in the progress has to be reviewed and monitored in every 3 months, and it has to be rigorously worked upon. Otherwise, this will become a one-time event. So this is how we are proposing to move forward. Thank you. Sir, I'm done.
Yeah, thank you, Arvind.
Yeah, thanks.
Now over to
Thank you,
Dr.
sir, for your
Umesh.
brief presentation.
Thank you.
I invite Dr. Umesh Katne, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Physics, to present the outcome of the theme, Sensors, Payloads and Small Satellites.
Dr. Umesh. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Okay. There was an issue with my mic settings. Sorry. Good afternoon, respected Chancellor, IIST, Dr. B.N. Suresh, respected Director, IIST, Director of APSC, Director NISL, and other dignitaries. It is very nice to have this meeting, and we had a very good interaction in the morning, which was mainly focused on the sensors, small satellite and payload development areas, where we could share the technologies which are developed at IIST, and we could demonstrate them to some of them, selected ones, to industry, and we got a very nice response, very positive response, and we found a lot of common areas. So just to brief you about the activities, we had more than 100 participants in the program. We had 12 industry side presentations, and many interest areas including MEMS and nanotechnology, application of nanotechnology in sensors, payload design, testing, qualification, electronics fabrication, sensor technology for ground applications, optics, holography, all these areas were covered. We had a very limited time, but we could have very quick discussions. What we discovered halfway is that many industrial partners were very much interested in involving our students in the program. So we invited Emmanuel Raja to describe the IIST Industrial Internship Program. And I'm sure we are going to hear more about it soon. Then we had a lot of discussion on various aspects. So there were a lot of discussions. I am not covering everything, but I'm listing out quickly about 10 areas or 10 industries where we had very specific points where we could actually immediately come out with something we can work together. Of course, all industrial partners expressed interest in collaborations, and there are a lot of possibilities, but there are 10 specific examples which I will just list out for you. So the first one is Astrogate Labs. They are developing optical payloads and very advanced and indigenous optical payloads they are developing. And what was informed is that at present the optical and the laser subsystems are imported, and they are looking for a possibility of developing laser and optical systems indigenously in collaboration with IIST. Another very interesting area where our faculty members definitely can contribute was their requirement of MEMS-based fine steering mirror. So we will soon take these discussions further and find out how we can actually work on ground together and how our students and faculty can participate in this. Then next one is Anant Technologies. There was a description about the broad capabilities of the industry, and it was informed that the industry is interested in involving our students as well as faculties into the electronic subsystems and the small satellite area, and a direct contribution from IIST is what is being looked upon. So again, here we need more discussions. We could only spend a few minutes, so we have to identify exactly which areas and how we can contribute into it. But this is one very positive development we are looking for. Then Dhruva Space, there was a discussion about a small sat ground station, and it was a collaboration is what is expected. And since IIST also has a small satellite ground station, so we can actually collaborate and jointly work on these areas together. Embedded system solutions, again, expressed interest in having some students involved, and space system design areas, and expressed interest in collaboration. We wish to have a longer duration interaction program to really understand the requirements and then take this point forward. We are already planning for a 2-3 hour session. That's what was discussed in the meeting. Then Light Logic's holography and optics system expressed interest in optics and holography application, because IIST has very good expertise in this. Already we have good infrastructure here. So image processing and image correction algorithms can be applied there. So that is one area. Another interesting area has come out is the nano tagging. Using nanotechnology, optical tagging system can be made. Again, it's a chemical marker, so that development also, chemistry department has shown some interest. So hopefully a positive thing will come out of that. We will be planning very soon more detailed discussions on that. Nanosniff Technologies Private Limited had very interesting description of the new type of nanosensors which they are building and they are marketing, and some of the sensors which IIST is proposing. Actually, we can see that the converting into product and productionizing it and converting into commercial application can be done through Nanosniff Technologies Private Limited. They have offered this help, and of course various areas like where actual sensor fabrication also they have offered something. Then Pixel Industries also offered interaction with students for the training program and interactions. So that also we plan to take forward. Proximal Soil Sense technology came up with a very broad range of sensors and sensor applications, including sensors for agricultural purposes, environmental monitoring, and so on. And in those areas, not only the sensor side, but also application side, there was an interest from the industry to involve IIST faculty and students for the research. A couple of areas of interest are gas sensors, as we have certain expertise in gas sensors, but also the soil moisture sensor. And also one possible area is where Aerospace department also can contribute in terms of designing appropriate structures and tools for these sensors. So this is another area. The same industry also offered a very attractive solution where they can help our students and faculties to reach the startups. The same company has offered help in making such bridge between IIST faculty and students and the startup companies. So we are also going to discuss that further and take it further. Rocketeers Industries propose that they are already building launch vehicles, but they require considerable help from IIST. They expect a considerable amount of help from IIST for realizing the payloads and sensors for these launch vehicles. So this is another activity which we are going to take up very vigorously in coming days. Then Metro, finally, Metro also offered help in realizing small sensors, helping converting our lab prototypes into application-oriented prototypes, and that discussion also has to be taken forward. So these are the 10 explicit outcomes where there was an interest from both IIST faculty side as well as the industry side, and roughly the ideas have been exchanged. Now the next step is to assign every industry. We will be assigning one particular faculty member as a coordinator, and through that we will coordinate each of these to a higher level. So this is the update, and thank you very much. It was a very fruitful and very useful session. It was a learning experience for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Umesh. Yes, Sini, I'll go ahead. Now may I request Dr. Deepak Mishra also to give a broad this thing, about the groups. Yeah, please.
Good afternoon.
Maybe Dr. Deepak, because the time is short, you have to be a little crisp and to the point. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. So then I will not discuss this.
Yeah, please.
So I think as every other group, our group has also very good interaction, very open interaction. So these are the list of companies who attended our presentation. Means they were the part of the presentation also. So they have presented their profile and portfolios. So I just go through the list of companies. I will not go into details of the thing. Okay, so the major point, basically the interaction happened on some of the industries are looking for the context from all the participating industries and focal point in IIST for technology transfer discussion. So they want to go ahead with more focused discussion on various technologies. So I have suggested that Professor Kuruvilla would be consolidating everything and may be able to communicate the details of all participating industry and the faculties as well. There were also a lot of interest in offering internship to our student, and there are very success stories with the many companies. Our student has done very good work. So there are a lot of interest in taking this forward for our students. And there are some discussion basically to create an infrastructure for open and free satellite data research and startup collaboration in collaboration with ISRO as well. So they are in proposition that we should have a free availability of satellite data for various research and societal applications. So that also I said that with the NRSC in place and the ISRO in place, that can be discussed and then further taken for the discussion in future discussion. The company like ISRO and basically they suggested that if there is a startup coming out of any industry or any education institute, they actually give their infrastructure framework for free for those startup companies. That is also a very important aspect. Many of the companies which participate in our team are geospatial data analytics companies. So they are looking for technologies like machine learning, deep learning aspects. And some of the students also attended our session, and they were very happy to know that various opportunity in the space application area, and it was quite motivating for them to say that, okay, we have done the good choice of our branch and everything. There was a specific remark made by one of the representatives that companies have ample opportunities, but something of a big mismatch in Indian job market in the resume and profile. So I think companies are looking for a very focused niche area profile, and if we can provide them, there is a huge amount of job opportunities available in those areas. There is another question remark made by one of the company that they are looking for mostly technical skill of IST student, what all things we teach. So they are looking for that people should be familiar with the JavaScript, Python, or open basically cloud services, ML, AI, API, database handling. So these are the skill set they are looking for their employees. So I think we can also take this into revising our syllabus whenever we do a revision in our syllabus. The way forward with the interaction was basically we need more focused interaction on various specific technology, and also internship opportunity for a student has to be generated in consultation with the placement cell, and research highlights is also required from the Dean R&D so that we have a very good interface between industry and academia for exchanging the thought and taking forward this thing. Open and free research data exchange options for societal application has to be worked out, how we can get their data for our research and they get our data for research. That is another question came out in the discussion. And also industry academia interaction policy has to be there on how to share the IPR and data sharing without having any conflict of interest. That is another thing which comes out. And it is also people were actually looking IST for providing, suppose we have certain research facility, can it be also make available to industries on chargeable basis, or some kind of a mutually benefiting schemes can be thought of, so that we also use their complementary, supplementary kind of a skill set is also important. So these are the things which we have discussed, and I think a very fruitful interaction happened, and all of the partnership industry partners were very happy with the interaction. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak Mishra, for your concise this thing. But there is a lot of homework to be done subsequently on the areas which you are talking about, which we'll try to do. Now, having heard, sir, everyone, since this has been inaugurated by our Chancellor, may I request, before going to Director, Chancellor to tell a few words on the curtain riser and the panelists who have spoken, and then the way, the summing up which has been done by the three groups, if he has any message to give to us.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I think, I just listened very carefully the feedback given by all the three working groups. First of all, I must compliment all of you for choosing three important areas where you have made good progress, namely the technologies and materials, then sensors, payload and related areas, and finally applications. And you have really identified a number of possible areas where you can have more and more interaction, and that itself is a very good thing. Second thing is also that all of them have shown interest to have the focused interaction in the coming months and years. And of course, it's also good that they are opening internship possibilities for the students. Of course, with the open policy that has been announced, and I think it's being framed, you must bring IIST also in the loop in terms of whatever is raised in terms of IP and all that, because government has told very clearly that you must allow the private operators to come and utilize the ISRO facilities, and so that you contribute for the economic development of the country. And IIST cannot be different from what SHAR can do, or ISTRA can do, or MCF can do, or VSCC can do. Certainly that they should be able to use your facilities, and while doing so and while discussing and agreeing, I think you must also drop on some kind of scheme to use their facilities too. I think, give and take should happen so that we also will get the maximum benefit. So I can see that a lot of takeaways have happened, and as I mentioned right in the beginning, these are all very good things that we summarize. I think you need to generate one summary sheet, the outcome of all the three groups, what transpired and what are the recommendations. And we need to constantly follow up. All of them will not fructify, in any such system. But if we are able to really make progress, even with 50% of what we have envisaged, I think we have done a great job. So we need to provide a very firm foundation of this interaction between IIST and the other interested industry. The very fact that they have attended all these sessions, I think I see the numbers, they are really quite good. Of course, there's one big advantage of having online participation, otherwise it would have been very difficult. I think we can first summarize one sheet, what are the outcomes. The second could be that how to really go for a way forward. And third, I think what periodicity we have to meet, and we have to structure the agenda and call them and take it forward. And I think as things progress out of pandemic, maybe a couple of visits by the concerned people from both ends will go in a long way. I think it's a very good beginning. I must once again compliment all of you, and I think the purpose for which you would have thought about, you would have started, in my opinion, you have got the good result, but it's only a beginning. To make it happen, you have just planted a small plant today, but to see it as a tree and to yield fruits, I think we have to work. But it's possible. I can tell you with the kind of enthusiasm that is available here and industry. Industry also, I talked to quite a few industry people. They are all very encouraged with this open policy. And it's a good thing you have jumped right at the beginning. And if you are able to harness and then put it to for the benefit of ISRO or IIST, I think it will go in a long way. I'm sure that, it's as I mentioned again earlier, we must work such that it should be a win-win situation, and both development in IIST as well in the industry, and many of the products should really keep flying in our systems, different systems, be it payload, be it launch vehicle system, be it spacecraft system, or even some of the various components which are needed for the ground system. I think we should do that. And in that process, I think we'll make a very good progress. And before I conclude, let me convey my very best wishes for the grand success of what you have started today in the coming years. And I'm pretty sure that if you are able to follow it up with the same zeal and enthusiasm, we will certainly succeed. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your this thing. Definitely, we'll follow it up and making a schedule and then come back to you also and brief you on the status. Now, may I kindly request Dr. V.K. Dadwal, the Director IIST, to tell the way forward on hearing what are the direction he has given on this academia, IIST and industry interface, the outcome of it. Now, I request him to give the way forward for us, all of us. Yeah.
So, good afternoon. I'm actually gratified to listen to all of you and also look at the outcome. And I offer apologies for intruding upon your time so long than what we had initially planned and promised. So there are a lot of things which we have to do, but the message what we are taking on is that whole range of possibilities. Educational institutes always look at the industry as a seat for internship for their students and maybe for placement. But the purpose of today's program was to introduce to the industry some of our faculty and students' research areas and research progress. So in that respect, not only have the industries through their contact points have shortlisted some of the areas, work areas. I will not repeat them. I would like to only request you to recall what Dr. Arvind, Dr. Umesh, and Dr. Deepak Mishra said. More importantly, they also posed some questions to us. And three more type of opportunities came. One, the industry wanted their staff to come and get some degrees, I think, something which we haven't done. We only were taking sponsored candidates from ISRO. Although this year we have taken 2 sponsored candidates from DRDO. So I will work with the board as well as the governing council to see how the industry students could also join. Second, the industry offered joint labs, joint products. I think that needs also to be taken. I'm very aware of this fact that what we got was just a handful of the, at least there are 500 industries which work with ISRO. What we got today was around 35 of them. So we didn't even scratch the surface. Two, majority of them had some interest, some interface, and some definite area of work with us. So which we are going to follow up seriously. Although there would be coordinator or some first point of contact, as well as the chair of the sessions what we had, but we will ensure that for each work, for each industry, we will map a faculty and the industry so that there is no gap between the understanding of what the industry is looking for and what the final person who is charged with that responsibility, what is his appreciation of what is we will work on that. I assure you, we have been wanting to have a industry academia meet. So past 2 years, in fact, we converted this challenge of COVID pandemic into an opportunity to have this online meeting, which is so easy. Else we were all engrossed more on the logistic than on the technical. So the logistic this time was very simple, and most of the time was spent in technical. But before I close, I would really like to thank each one of the industry participant, and more so the very busy senior panelists, including our Chancellor, Dr. V. Narayanan, Shri G. Narayanan, and Dr. P. Subbarao, who really are with us, and I'm sure we will seek their guidance and keep them apprised of the progress we make. I thank you one and all, and I'm sure IIST is indebted to you for the great help you are doing in making the institute make its mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dadwalji. Sini, I will take over with your kind permission because of the time. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of IIST 14 Foundation Day celebrations and on my own behalf. At the outset, I would like to thank our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. B.N. Suresh sir, for his presence, inaugurating, and also giving us a flair in which direction we need to move. And then to Dr. V.K. Dadwal, Director of IIST, to give these topics and the way we should conduct. And time to time, he was available always to guide our teams to ensure a crisp and clear message to the industry. And we could conclude on some of these aspects which have come out, though it is a beginning, sir. What I can assure to Chancellor Saab is that we are going to continue this, and also we'll brief you on the progress of the activities which we have taken. I would like to thank Dr. V. Narayanan, Director LPSC. In a very short time, he has given a crisp and clear message of present, past, and future, and the role and the opportunities available from ISRO side. And G. Narayanan, especially from industry perspective, how ISRO is trying to facilitate and what the opportunities are available. So that gives a clear message to all our fellow industry colleagues and also faculty to understand a flair of when they interact with the industry person. And our veteran, Dr. P. Subbarao from the industry, who from ISRO, he joined into industry, and from applications to the fabrication and satellite manufacturing. What is his vision from opportunities to challenges, an example of risk-taking. Thank you, Dr. Subbarao, for your kind time and message. And I would like to thank all the industry colleagues who are there, and in a brief message which they have passed on to us, we have noted down the points, and that gives a message that we are very clear, because the shorter the message, the more we are clear. Maybe some of you didn't get an opportunity, but then in the interactive session of industry participants, but we'll take it forward, maybe with the special activities of one-to-one on this subject. For all these programs, of IIST celebrations, Dr. Kuruvilla Joseph is the focal point. He is the man behind, running around each one and trying to make this program. So I place on record my sincere thanks to him. And then we have all the three teams, because the teams are, we have a chair and co-chair, Dr. Arvind and Dr. Prabhakaran. For this, they're supported by an interdisciplinary team. This is where we have an interdisciplinary teams we supported for aerospace technology and materials, and for sensors, payloads, and small satellites by Dr. Umesh and co-chair by Priyadarshanam. And there's again an interdisciplinary team. And then we have for space applications by Dr. Deepak Mishra and Dr. Ramarao as co-chair and chairs. And they have again an interdisciplinary team. This is how the teams work. So that's where there's a crisp and clear message. I thank all the teams for bringing highlights, what happened in the curtain raiser, and bring it down to this particular level of clarity while in the concluding sessions. I also should thank some of our seniors who participated, like Jnanamani Saab and other things, and then giving suggestion to us. Many more, maybe it might not come to our attention in discussing and then put through. I also would like to thank my colleagues from CSG, the Computer Systems Group, to see this online. So the logistics now today is online. They have ensured that is a free flow which has happened for people to register and be with us and then speak, and also from administration, finance, and purchase. This time we don't have to thank the transport because there's no transport requirements, because all are self-sufficient, as director has mentioned put through. But just to give just one flair to all the people who are present here, that we flagged off this on 12th September, has already been mentioned, because this is the main plenary session which has happened with the association of our IIST alumni, which has become very strong. And they made a panel discussion of Umesh from India and Amal Chandran from Singapore, and from University of Auckland, and then moderated by Rachana Reddy from Berlin. So, and this has been organized by Prahad Agarwal and Dr. Sajimon. I thank them very much, interestingly, which has happened. And then we had a school students program that day afternoon, that's on Saturday afternoon, by UL Space Club. Youngsters from 7th to 12th standard, beautifully interacted, very good questions asked, and talks given by Dr. Umesh Kadani and Dr. Satish. I thank them once again on this subject for taking it. And then we had on 13th on Sunday, again the IIST alumni, along with IIST, our Sajimon. I conducted Ankesh Mishra Memorial Quiz Competition for IIST students, and those results also are coming through. So, and then we had a beautiful Foundation Day lecture of 6th APJ Abdul Kalamji. It's very motivating and for all of us, and also rejuvenating in thinking of our thoughts and how we'll make our future, taking the education policy for job creation per se. And then today evening, closing again is there, an alumni meet and event that's from 7 o'clock onwards. So there's a huge activities which has happened in this last Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I once again thank each and every one, and also for Sini, my colleague who conducted this program extremely well, this particular plenary session. And each and every program needs meticulous planning and multi colleagues joining and then giving their support. A good teamwork has been done under the direction of Dr. Dadwal and overall coordination of Dr. Kuruvilla Joseph. And also thank my deans, R&D, and also Dean Academics for their kind support, participation, and also on the presentation of the events which has come forward. Thanks one and all. If I missed anyone, it's from my side, and for that I forgive, because it's a good activity which has happened. Thank you once again for one and all, for all my industry participants and my students and alumni. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Each one of you for being with us throughout these sessions. Next, we will have an alumni meet at 7 in the evening. Once again, thanks to all.
Thank you, Sini.